Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today I am at Calgary Central Public Library, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the materials that you should practice or to learn from, and also I'll share a few tips with you guys at the end of this video so that you can be more successful and effective in your own learning journey as well. But first off, let me tell you why choosing the right materials to practice or to learn with is a must know and is not even a nice to know. And the reason being is that if you've already given up on learning English for so many times before, but still wondering if you are still able to learn it, let me tell you this. The reasons that happened to you for so many times before can vary, but one of the main ones is that you probably didn't know what was the right material to practice or to learn with, or you probably didn't even know how to choose the right material for yourself. But before diving into today's video's main content, I would like to tell you a little story made of my observation and experience in learning and teaching English as well. So it's basically a little bit more than 5 years now since I decided to put myself on this journey, and I've been seeing so many people around the world, or even my friends, giving up on that journey barely halfway through. Many of them started off with their little interest for English, and very soon, just right after they started that journey, they decided to give up just because they now realized this is tough, while they were not really ready to commit to it yet. It's like, yeah, I think I have time right now, so I'll learn a little bit of English while waiting to be hired by a company. Or all of my friends know a little bit of English, so I guess I'll try to be like them. Or, even I'm so sick of seeing other people being successful with their career because their English is good and I'm not because I suck at speaking English. So on and so forth. And if your reason of learning English is one of the above, and you as well, very soon after you started, you decided to give up on your journey, let me tell you that you're not alone. Because this is why thousands and thousands of people around the world decided to stop at some point on their journey as well. Because they didn't know how to grow their little interest into a passion of their life. And so they ran out of energy and they became so disappointed in themselves. However, my original interest that forced me to even begin my own journey was absolutely worse than any of the above. I only wanted to learn English absolutely just for fun, and I thought to myself, since others could do it, I could do it too, and that's it. That's how I started. So maybe to this point, you're now starting to understand or realize that it doesn't really matter how small and little your interest in English is, you can still be successful with it. And in case you're thinking to yourself that you're not smart enough, or you're already a little too old to even begin, let me tell you this, that almost everyone and anyone can learn English as long as they're not mentally impaired or incapable of making any correct sounds out of their mouth within their own native language. So if you're not falling into any of those categories, I'm pretty sure that you can learn English as well. And that's why if you're still thinking that you're not smart enough, you better stop thinking it that way, or else you're setting yourself up for failure way before you even start. Now, let's get back to the little interest of yours in English. And if you ever want to learn faster but more effectively, you need to turn or grow that little interest in English of yours into a lifelong passion. And yes, you don't hear me wrong, that it has to be a lifelong passion. And do you know why? The reason being is that even for native speakers, from time to time, they still find themselves stuck in finding the right words to use for their conversations or whenever they need them most. That's the reason why that even them, they still have to learn their own language by expanding their vocabulary range or pushing up on their grammatical knowledge, something like that. Or even within your own native tongue, I guarantee that you experience this a lot as well. That's when you are trying to use some certain words, right? But then all the words are just on the tip of your tongue. Now, let's say that situation happens when you are delivering a presentation at your company. And the question is, what are you going to do after that situation happens? Right? Of course, you have to be more careful in practicing if you don't want your next presentation to happen the same way, right? So in English and learning it, at some point, you think you've reached some certain level in English and you decided to stop. You wouldn't even be able to maintain whatever you've learned, and eventually you'd lose all of them. Anyways, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be mainly sharing with you guys how to grow your little interest into a lifelong passion. And so choosing the right materials is just one of the first steps that you need to take in order to reach your goals. At first, the right materials seem to have nothing to do with your passion, but just please keep in mind that people will stop doing what they're doing if they don't see any progress in what they do. And choosing the wrong one to even start learning from it, not only that you're wasting your time, but you're gonna feel down as well when you talk to somebody in English and all of a sudden you realize that all of your learning effort for the past couple years is now fruitless. And that leads to a much more dangerous situation when your tiny little interest for English is squashed, and now you have absolutely no more motivation to learn or even to continue. And that's why I always tell my learners to be really careful in choosing the right materials. But the question is, what is the right one and what is the wrong one though? So the right ones seem to give you a hard time to master, and it absolutely takes you a process to get it right. And so at first, the learning process seems to be really kind of nearly impossible or really long for you to go through. But the more you learn and practice with it, the better, significantly better that your skills will become. While the wrong ones make you believe that you've learned a lot, right? But in fact, you've never stepped into the game to really see how much more serious and smart that you should have been with your learning in the first place. Let me give you an example. If you've watched one of those YouTube videos teaching you about some phrases or sentences in English and you liked them a lot, right? Because the person was talking really slowly, so you understood almost everything they said. And so you thought to yourself, you'd come back to watch that person's videos again to learn more. But now, let's say you're having a conversation with a native speaker, and in the moment being, you have absolutely no idea or no clue what she was talking about, even though you've been spending 1 hour or 2 every single day watching those videos for the past 6 months, right? How are you gonna feel when that happens? Of course, disappointed in yourself, right? Well, it's not absolutely your fault, but in fact, or perhaps, it's that person's fault by showing you the wrong materials to learn from, and so ending up wasting your time. And if you've been watching those slow sentence and phrase teaching videos, trust me on this one, you better stop doing it, as you won't make the progress that you aim for. For me, when I first began my journey, I also had a few months that I was absolutely into watching these kind of videos because I thought that I learned something from them. But I only wanted to watch them because I wanted to go for the easy English and not the real English. And after I realized that the easy one didn't really help me improve faster and I needed to be more serious with my learning, so I decided to give up on watching those easy English videos completely and really going for the real one. And I'm really happy about the results I got because just right after about 6 months since I decided to change my mind about this, I became gradually more able to speak with people in English. So seeing how much and fast you can learn and how far you can go when choosing the right materials to practice with is such a wonder. That's why I wanted to share with you guys all of this in order for you to make some serious strides within your own learning journey as well. Now, in order to decide if the material that you have is the right one, you need to be able to base it off of these two criteria, which I'm about to tell you right now. Now, the first one is all about the natural side of it. And what I mean by natural is how naturally they speak, and it consists of their speed, intonation, sentence structures, and right expressions at the right time. Okay, let's jump right in the first one, speed. And why this is so important? Because tons and tons of English learners always complain that they can't keep up with native speakers in a movie or in a real conversation, regardless of how much they practice at home or at school. And the reason being is that because they've been listening to a much slower material, maybe videos or audios on YouTube that are speaking at a very slow speed. And that's why, they are used to that kind of speed. While in reality, native speakers don't speak that slowly. And to solve this, you simply just need to get yourself acquainted with that normal, natural speed. And after a while of practicing, you'll be able to catch up with him. And the second one is about intonations. More specifically, it's just the way that native speakers stress and emphasize some certain points that are important in their sentences. And when listening, these stress points become really clear, really understandable in other native speakers' ears, so that they understand the whole thing, the whole phrase, the whole sentence thoroughly, completely, without having to pay attention to each and every single word. Now, granted that being able to listen to these stress points takes time and takes effort for you to get it, but with some consistent practicing, I think you'll be able to definitely grow the ear for it. And to do this, you need to stop watching those slow speed videos in which the type of English they use is not naturally spoken. Now, let's get on the next point. And the next point is all about sentence structures. And this is vital. You know why? Because if you've ever wanted to clearly understand what you hear from a native speaker, you gotta equip yourself some basic grammar knowledge. Let me give you an example. I'm used to going to the church every weekend, and I used to go to the church every weekend. And of course, I'm not going to explain the difference between these two sentences. And in case you don't know what the difference is between these two, I suggest that you go online, probably go on Google and search it up for yourself. But the main point is that you need to equip yourself with some basic knowledge about basic grammar if you want to clearly understand someone in English. Right? But just don't go all out. Just don't go crazy about learning grammar, because I believe that as long as you have some consistent practicing, the knowledge will come and you'll be able to understand everything. Alright, now let's talk about the last item on this category, and it's about right expressions at the right time. So textbooks or books in general are really good examples of well-structured sentences. And so if you've ever had a thought that you would probably memorize every single thing or sentences that you liked in a book and tried your best to rack your brain while communicating with somebody in hopes of using those sentences, good luck for you. Good luck for you, because in reality, native speakers don't speak exactly the same way that how it is in a textbook. And so if you keep bringing texts or written sentences in a book into your conversations, probably almost everyone doesn't want to listen to you. Also, in reality, each native speaker has their own style of thinking and speaking, and so the expressions may be totally different compared to one another, even when they're in the same situation. That's why not only do you have to choose the right materials, you also need to pick out a good speaker or a character for you to listen to and to learn from. And for this, I suggest that you go for any character that has the same or almost the same personality as you. And the second criteria is all about the practical aspect of the material. And it's about what's really being used by native speakers. For example, words, expressions, and ideas they use for their conversations daily, and about the context in which they speak. So there are two things, right? But the first one is about the application and how applicable all the words, expressions, and ideas of the materials you pick are to your daily life. Let me give you an example. Social media is having tons and tons of videos in which they teach you how to say hello and how are you in so many different ways. But let me ask you this. Do you really have to learn all of them, or knowing only a couple of them is just fine? Not only that, in their videos, they also talked about all the advanced words as if you don't know them, you shouldn't be speaking English at all. Well, all in all, English is just a language you use to speak your thoughts, and thereby, it should only be working its way around you as a means of communication. Therefore, you should only learn whatever applicable to your life, and please don't waste your time beating yourself up just to learn something useless yet difficult to remember. And the second thing that makes up the practical side of materials is the context. Now, many of you guys may have experienced this already, and that's when you spend a lot of time learning so many individual words and expressions, but when you need to use them, they're just on the tip of your tongue, or in other words, you can't remember them. Why? To speak about that, you first need to know about how the human brain memorizes things. And that is, information combined with emotion becomes long-term memory. And this has been said by Tieng to help so many people around the world improve their memories. But how does this logic help you learn English more effectively? Well, when it comes to learning English, of course, English or any knowledge in it is now the information that your brain needs to absorb. But the emotion you need in order to intake the information can be created when you learn something without its context. And that's why, after writing a lot of separate words and trying to learn them for days and weeks, you still have to rack your brain to remember them every time. Now, the question is, what materials can not only contain the information you need, but also provide you with some level of emotion so you can learn it at a deeper level? Simple. Movies and videos that have their flow of stories and contexts. Besides, these types of materials often have sound and visual effects that can be really captivating to visual and auditory learners as well. But I think every one of us can learn a lot faster and better with sensational materials. And in movies or videos, if you choose good ones, you're definitely gonna feel excited, surprised, and impressed, which leads you to be more engaged. And that's why information you learn will stick in your head for a much longer time. Alright guys, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm just tapping on how to choose the right material, and I'm definitely gonna leave the right set of techniques which you can apply to be more effective with your practicing in the next video, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. And I also hope that this video has been really helpful in helping you guys choose the right material to practice or to learn with, because I know for sure that in life, we don't have a lot of time to waste. And if you want to learn faster and more effectively, just follow my lead, or follow all the tips that I shared in this video as well. By the way, if you like this video, don't forget to like and share this video, and also subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos as well. And now it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.